Hey everyone, Raptor Rising here. Today I'm going to show you the best loadout in Gray Zone Warfare at the moment. And that is the M4. I've played around with a lot of different weapons. The AK-74, AK-47, Remington 700, mostly gone. But the M4 / Mark 18 is hands down the best gun in the game. And today I'm going to show you my favorite way to build these. We'll start by going to Gunny. There's not really much of a functional difference between the Mark 18 and the M4. There's a bit of a weight difference between the two of these. And one is a little cheaper, so I kind of like that. We'll make a black M4. Grab a magazine. Just kind of go down the list here. So we've got the M4 lower receiver, AR-15. Now when it comes to barrels, this is Gunny level 3 by the way. You have the 10.5, 14.5, 16-inch, and 18-inch barrels. Now the 18-inch will give you the best possible MOA available to purchase. There is a 20-inch M4 barrel, but 18 is the best that you can buy. However, I prefer the 16-inch. I think it's a really good compromise. If you look at the stats here, go ahead and pop those out. And then we'll look at them. So basically the 14.5-inch will give you a 2.15 MOA. So that's basically expected accuracy at 100 yards would be 2.15 inches. 1.83 inches at 100 yards for the 16-inch and 1.44 inches for the 18-inch. Personally, I feel like the 16-inch is probably just the best middle ground, so we'll go ahead and build that. It's really up to you, though. Next, you want to get the Supreme charging handle. This gives you a 6% reduction in reload time. It's really strong. The best attachment for the guns that I've seen, at least all around, is going to be the EVGA or EVGA if you're using an M-LOK attachment system. This will give you a 4% increase in recoil control, 6% increase in weapon handling, and a minus 16% arm stamina drain, which is huge. That's a big buff. Pop that in there. And now for gas blocks, we'll use the JPGS-10, which gives you a 7% recoil reduction and a 6% increase to your fire rate. Next, we'll use the RIS. I like the RIS 12-inch for the barrel lengths that are longer. Just covers up more of the rail, doesn't look as awkward. But both the 12 and 9.5 give you a 12% recoil reduction, so it's up to you. Pop that on there. I like to run flip-up sights. We have those. So I grabbed the micros so that I can mount an ACOG. If you use the Magpul M-Bus, you will not be able to run an optic, a big optic on the back rail. So keep that in mind. Alright, next, pick the SF3P flash suppressor. The Daniel Defense grip, which gives the best stats. It does have a big arm stamina drain hit, but that's more than made up for by the angled forward grip, so it's a good trade-off. Need a buffer tube, put that on there. I really like the MOE stock, so we're going to run the MOE. And here's the cool thing about the MOE stock, you can put that on there. The MOE stock itself gives you a 6% recoil control buff and a 6% weapon handling buff. Then when you put the extended butt pad on, it also gives you another 4% recoil control, so we'll grab that. And then the RC1 suppressor, which mounts onto the SF3P, just because I like to run suppressed. It's up to you. If you'd rather run a muzzle brake, you can totally do that. This muzzle brake will give you a 20% recoil reduction, which is probably the best in class. But if you run the SF3P, which gives you 15% recoil reduction with suppressor, that gives you a 2% plus 15% buff, which is 17% recoil reduction control. But it does have an unwanted side effect of dispersion, which increases the pattern spray of the weapon. It's a bit of a trade-off, and 3% is not huge, and it does affect weapon handling, but it's a pretty small amount, so it's worth it. And then finally we'll run our M4 upper receiver, just so it all matches. Again, between the two of them, not much of a huge difference. The Mark 18 upper weighs a little bit less, but stats-wise, there's nothing else to distinguish them. Alright, so that is an M4 in parts. That's going to cost me $3,500, basically $3,600 ago. And so it's a little bit pricey, but it is the best possible build. Let's go ahead and drop it. Alright, move everything to a clear area. Take a sec while I sort here, people. If you're like me and you've got stuff organized like this and all of your open spaces towards the bottom, there's actually a quicker way to organize. Just put everything in a backpack, leave your inventory window open. This will make it really easy to transfer things without having to scroll all the way up and all the way back down. Alright, so I just leave that window open. I'll scroll down to where I'm building this rifle. Just kind of plant everything here. Alright, so first we'll combine the upper and the lower receivers to make one. Throw the barrel on next, and now our buffer tube. Starting to look pretty good, right? Okay, next we'll throw on our rail interface system. Boom. And we'll do our stock next. See, it's starting to come together, right? We'll do our grip, our gas block, and our charging handle. This weapon is almost completely built now. If I would throw this magazine in there, this is functional enough now that it would work. But we're not done building yet, so we'll put on our rubber butt pad and build our suppressor, throw that on there, and finally our backup sights and our angled forward grip. There you go. There is the best possible build for the Mark 18 all around. So let's look at these stats. So we have a 1.86 expected MOA. Again, at 100 yards, that means that it's got an expected accuracy of 1.86 inches. Pretty damn good. 37% recoil control buff. 9% buff to arm stand drain. And remember, a negative here is a good thing. Weapon handling plus 9%, really great. And minus 12% reload time. I don't like running the 60 round mags because they add a significant reload time. Prefer to keep the Daniel Defense 32 round mags. I think those work really well. And so there you have it. There is my M4/Mark 18 preferred build. You can change a few things out. If you wanted to run a shorter barrel, you could do the 10.3 or 14-inch barrels. They will give you worse expected accuracy. And in fact, the 10.3 inch, as awesome as it looks, gives you a 3.9 MOA, which is absolutely terrible in anything that isn't close quarters. So I'd recommend staying away from that one unless you're maybe going to go clear YBL1 or something like that. And then you can run all the way up to the 18-inch from Gunny 3, which will give you 1.4 MOA, which is pretty damn accurate. It's a really strong build. And there you have it. Let's go ahead and put that thing in our inventory and see what it looks like. Yeah, looking good. Now you can run whatever optics of choice you want. These are the backup irons are really good, but you can now run an ACOG or a Spectre, Voodoo Scope if you have it, or a Red Dot. I generally like to take an ACOG for starting an engagement. So if I grab one, I have a bunch. Go ahead and pop that on there. Take my ACOG out, start the fight, and then as things get more intense, more close quarters, I can drag that off and then pop on, for example, this Aimpoint T2, and now I've got a good CQB weapon. One thing to note too is if when you do run an ACOG or similar scoped optic, there is a hit that you will take on weapon handling. If you run the ACOG, it goes from 9% buff to weapon handling to just 1%, and I think that's with the weight of the rifle, the weight of the optic. I'm not exactly too sure what weapon handling does. I've speculated that it's been aimed down sight speed, but I have not too much empirical data to drive that. It's just a guess at this point. Anyway, I hope you guys found this video helpful. Please like and subscribe for more. Let me know what you guys thought in the comments below. If you think there's a better loadout, let me know and we can explore it. We'll catch you guys in the next one. This has been Raptor Rising. Raptor out.